That's Lisa Hannigan getting the night cruise underway for Monday morning, the 22nd of April. And a hearty good morning to you. How are things? My name is Feargal, and before we go any further, I'd like to thank Sean for covering for me for last week. And if you're wondering what this is, well, you've landed on Freedom FM's Night Cruise, a haven for the most soothing, romantic, and chill melodies from the 90s and the noughties. And now that you're here, you might be wondering about our agenda for the morning. Well, as well as playing an array of wonderful tunes, we'll have a round of our Love Slowed Down game just after 1. And in this hour, it's all about you and your weekend escapades. And I'll give you more details on both of those in a few moments' time. If you want to reach out to me, you can do so often and early on WhatsApp or text to 085 2899 092. And if you are going to WhatsApp, don't hesitate to use the voice note feature because we do love to hear from you. If you prefer to email, you can send one my way to hello@freedomfm.ie. And for those of you on social media, you can find me, Voice Actor Fergs, on Threads, Instagram and Blue Sky. Going back to 94 from their second album Steam, that's E17, taking us around the world on your night cruise from Freedom FM. Now, hold on to your hats, folks, because it's that time of a Monday morning when we dive headfirst into your weekend escapades. Big or small, thrilling or chilling, we're all ears, we want to know. So before we get back to work and the Monday morning grind, let's roll out the red carpet for your weekend stories. As for me, not much to report. My Friday was a quiet one, cozied up on the couch, catching up on the final season of Star Trek Discovery. Now, I have to say, I'm a Trekkie, and I think this show lost its way a bit a few seasons back, but now it's back with full force, and I, for one, am enjoying this final season. As for Saturday, it was a day of rugby and rhythm. I was cheering Leinster on as they took on the Lions in South Africa. Then in the evening, I enjoyed the hothouse flowers at the Pavilion in Dunleary. Sunday, it was all about the garden, and the less said about that, the better. But I got a hunch that your weekend was a blockbuster compared to mine. So don't be shy, ping me a WhatsApp 085 2899 092, and let's put your weekend in the spotlight, shall we? Welcome to the Night Cruise on Freedom FM, your time machine back to the 90s and the noughties, and thanks for tuning in this morning. Now, a while ago, I asked you to share your weekend adventures with us all, and George Foster from Harold's Cross has reached out to me, and he says, Fergs, my lovely wife, Danielle, and I caught the Bows v Drogheda match on Friday night, after which we topped it off with a night out at the Piper's Arms in the city, a perfect blend of football, music, and a few beers. Sounds like a blast, George, and I'm glad that you and Daniela enjoyed your night out. Now, Mark Fitzpatrick has also shared his weekend escapades. Fergs, he says, I took my wife Erin and our kids Charlotte and Chloe to see Cirque du Soleil at the 3 Arena on Saturday. What an unforgettable show, says Mark. You know what? I can relate, Mark. My first Cirque du Soleil experience was back in 1996, and it's still fresh in my memory. So, what about you? Did you have an exciting, a boring weekend? It doesn't matter what you did. Drop us a message on WhatsApp at 085 2899 092 and share your story. But hurry, because we're going to be wrapping up the weekend celebrations after we hear from Rod. You're listening to the Night Cruise on Freedom FM, and from summer 1997, that's Usher's Nice and Slow. And I'd like to thank everyone who got in touch to tell us what you got up to this weekend, including Mia Foster, who's been in touch from Milltown in Cork. And she says that both her and her husband Jack had a rockin' night out at the Opera House in Cork, singing along to all of Queen's greatest hits with the cover band Flash Harry. We had an absolute blast, says Mia. I've seen them perform before, and they sure know how to put on a show, don't they, Mia? And finally for this morning, Nancy Thomas says, Fergs, hello from Galway. And Nancy goes on to say that she ventured out to see Connacht play Zebra with her husband Roger on Friday night. It was my first time at a rugby game, and I have to say it was a fantastic night out. I'm thrilled you enjoyed it, Nancy. And here's to many more games in your future, I hope. Now remember, if you love hearing about other people's weekends adventures, well, you know what to do. Spread the word and join us next Monday morning just after midnight, because we'll be here ready to do it all over again. You know what they say? It's the 2-week mark after a breakup that's the toughest, isn't it? And I suppose that's why Sinead sang about it back in January 1990. Good morning. My name is Feargal. You're tuned to the second hour of the Night Cruise. Now, if I say so myself, I think I've got a pretty good hour lined up for you with the best of 90s and noughties, romance, relaxing and chill songs. And guess what? Not only that, you're just in time for our Love Slowed Down game. And if you're wondering what that is, Let me fill you in. You see, just before the show started, I snuck into the production studio and picked out a famous 90s or noughties romance or relaxing song. I slowed it down to 33.5 RPM and recorded a short snippet, which I'll play for you in a moment. And if you recognize the song, all you got to do is reach out and tell me what it is, and if you're right, you might just hear your name on the radio a little bit later on. But first, let's have a listen to this week's Love Slowed Down. So if you think you know the song and want a chance to possibly win yourself a shout out on the radio just before 1, then drop me a message on WhatsApp to 085 2899 092 if you know what song this is. And don't worry, if I get any wrong answers, I'll let you know those right after we hear from Candy and Dave. Have you caught the TLC Forever documentary on TV yet? If I say so myself, I think it's a rather interesting watch. And speaking of TLC, that's their autumn 1995 hit Waterfalls on the night cruise from Freedom FM. And I see that a lot of you have been guessing at this week's Love Slowed Down game. And I do hope it's not too tricky. But just to clear things up for you, I can tell you that this week's Love Slowed Down is not Words by Boyzone, Goodbye My Lover by James Blunt, or Live Twice from Darius. So with that cleared up, let's listen to this week's Love Slowed Down again, shall we? If you think you've got it, then why not take a shot? WhatsApp me 085 2899 092, and you never know, you just might hear your name on the radio just before 1. You're listening to The Night Cruise from Freedom FM, and I'd like to say thank you to everyone who's been playing along with this week's Love Slowed Down game. And in case you need reminding, here's the song that you've been guessing at. As I said, so many of you wise night owls sent me in the correct answer, but if you're a regular listener, you know the PC in the studio only lets me see 4 names at any one time. So with that in mind, let me say hello, good morning, and well done to Linda Jenkins, who sent her answer in from Whitehall, Gary Evans, who reached out to me from Donabate, Monica Giles, who WhatsApped from Sutton, and Eric Carroll, who's in Glasnevin this morning, who all said that this morning's Love Slowed Down is... hang on, just before I tell you, if you enjoyed playing Love Slowed Down, then tell a friend and come back next Monday just after 1 and we'll do it all over again. As for this week's Love Slowed Down, it's Madonna and Justify My Love. That's Ilana on the Night Cruise, and Black Velvet tells me that's all the mess I can make of your radio this morning. Thank you for your company, both you and your messages made the show as always. Now Mike will be here with breakfast at 8, and before him, Alan will have the Freedom Years from 7. As for me, I'll be back later on today at 11 with another Night Cruise. Until then, thank you for your time this time. So until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.